It's been just over 8 months now since Najib Razak took over as Prime Minister of Malaysia in the midst of the global financial crisis. Malaysia's economy is heavily dependent on exports and was taking a hard hit, but it's been nowhere near as bad as it could have been, thanks in part to some aggressive government intervention and lessons learned from previous crises.
Malaysia's economy may have shrunk in 2009, but there's been no sharp rise in bankruptcies or non-performing loans, and unemployment is only around 3.5%. The government lessened the blow by pumping some $20 billion into the economy. But that's not the whole picture.
A lot of companies actually are better prepared this time around. I think they have actually moved into greater, more flexible manufacturing arrangements to the extent that they are now able to cope with this kind of export shock. They were better capitalized compared to the last crisis, and they were able to actually withstand the capacity cutbacks.
Malaysia's economy is set to rebound with growth of around 4% in 2010, but it's aiming to attain and sustain growth of closer to 6%. To do that, and to meet its long-held goal, dubbed Vision 2020, it will have to continue to shift from labour-intensive manufacturing more into services and technology-intensive industries.
It is very clear, it's an imperative for us that if we were to achieve developed status by the year 2020, we really have to run really fast. So we can't run slowly. We got to get results really quickly and then in droves. Make sure they're really big, and then define the problem.
A former senior executive with Shell and CEO of Malaysia Airlines, Idris Jalla is driving efforts to make sure the country meets some critical targets in reducing crime and corruption, improving infrastructure, and improving the education system. Overhauling the education system is critical to the goal of moving Malaysia up the value chain. German medical devices manufacturer B. Braun employs 4,700 people in northern Malaysia. It's set to invest around $150 million to expand its research and development operations here, and is exactly the type of company the government is keen to attract.
B. Braun Medical Industry is focused into moving the manual lines into more automation, and therefore we need, instead of technicians running the manual lines, we now need highly skilled engineers to operate on the automatic lines. And we need more skillful people and more research people and more talented people to really think out of the box.
A shortage of talent is a concern shared by other European investors in Malaysia.
If you take a look at innovation, it comes down to the actual creativity and the mindset of the people that you actually have. If you come back down to issues such as efficiency and productivity, it comes down to the actual individuals that you actually employ. So every single thing funnels down fundamentally down to the education process.
Improving the education system will take money. To try to boost revenues and reduce the deficit, the government of Najib Razak is looking at bringing in a goods and services tax, as well as overhauling a costly system of subsidies for fuel, as well as food items like sugar.
So I think this crisis presents us opportunities to undertake very hard, tough structural reforms that would normally be difficult to implement under normal economic circumstances. So what we are seeing now is that he has rolled out quite a number of tough policies.
To try to stimulate investment, the government has moved to reduce impediments to foreign ownership, liberalised more than 24 service sectors, and is working to slash red tape.
I think that is all part of the process of trying to prove, if you like, the government efficacy and efficiency and so on. So I think that going forward, I think it's encouraging.
With private investment levels here having halved since the 1998 financial crisis, Najib's government knows Malaysia desperately needs to attract more foreign and domestic investment to achieve its growth targets.
I think there is some measure of rising confidence. When he first took or assumed office, actually he set out to be what he called himself as a transformational leader. what we see here is that I think he has set a fairly blistering pace, just that I think what needs to be done is actually the follow through. It's the execution that counts.
Najib will need his ruling coalition, government-linked companies, the civil service and the private sector all on side if Malaysia is to successfully shift into the next critical phase of its development.